Excuse the messy here. It's like 10 o'clock at night. I'm about to read Midnight Sun. Start reading it. It's bittersweet because new Twilight book, so yes, more Twilight. Been waiting 11 years for this. But it's also bittersweet because once it's read, there's no more new Twilight books to read, and Midnight Sun, it'll be over. And it's just like sad to think about. This will be a really long journey, but enjoy the journey with me. We're already off to a great start. How all of the humans are fascinated with the arrival of a new student. Edward's like, please, it's nothing new. It's right here. Half the sheep, like males, were already imagining themselves infatuated with her just because she was something new to look at. I tried to tune them out. Bro, if only you knew you were gonna be so obsessed with her and then, like, marry her. We get to see the Cullens from a new perspective because it's not Bella we see them through, it's through Edward, so he actually gets to read their thoughts and see what they are. Like, Emmett is like an open book. He says usually whatever he's thinking. Jasper is in pain, that's not surprising. Alice is very bubbly and fashionable, and Rosalie is quite full of herself. We get to see a lot more of them because we get to see their thoughts, what they're actually thinking, what they're more like, because Edward's around them 24/7, whereas Bella is not. So we get to probably fall in love with these characters even more, and I'm here for it. Also, we also get to see how much pain Jasper's really in because Edward can hear his thoughts, and my god, Jasper's in a lot of pain. A lot of pain. So Edward's kind of like his babysitter, like, to watch to make sure he's not getting his thoughts too out of control. He sees Bella staring at him, and he's like, I'm so over it. And he can't hear her thoughts, and he's like, is something wrong with me? It's like, no, nothing's wrong with you, Edward. You just can't hear her thoughts because when she becomes a vampire, she's a shield. That was like one of the questions that I always wondered, like, what if like Edward and the Cullens were so incredibly attractive? Like, why didn't Edward have a biology partner? And I guess it's because all of the students feared him or knew to stay away from him and his family because they looked dangerous, which, I mean, makes sense. Barely passed for human, and they just sit by themselves and just hurdle in a pack. So I mean, it makes sense that all the other classmates would be like, you're hot, but like, you're scary, so like, no thanks, bro. It's the moment where her scent just hits him and he's like, it's a grenade in my face. It's like a battering ram. Like, oh my god. Like, he was literally ready to jump up and like just bite her and just kill her right there and then. Like, it shows in the book, and it's just like, oh my god, so intense. To see it from Bella's perspective is one thing, but then to hear it and see it from Edward's perspective, it just puts it into a whole new light. Like, he was this close to killing her in front of everyone. Now he's thinking of all of the ways, like, how can I kill her, drink her blood, and then dispose and get rid of all the other damage, all the other kids in the classroom, because if he were to kill Bella, he would have to get rid of all the evidence, meaning the bodies and all the other witnesses. And it's just like, the way he maps out, like, okay, I can block this exit, I can drink Bella's blood in this amount of seconds, okay, who am I gonna kill first? Jesus Christ, Edward! And I know you want her blood that badly, but bro, dang. Like, I get why he tried to resist her and be like, no, I don't want to be around you, because she's literally triggering and just gonna ruin his perfect life that he created here, his family, and like his control that he's gotten used to and worked so hard to manage and get under control. And now this human girl who smells so delicious comes by and he's like, you're gonna ruin everything. So I get why he's upset, but then he just says over and over again, I hate her, I wish she'd never been born. To hear Edward say, I hate you to Bella is so weird to hear when they're like this. Alice did see the vision of Edward stalking Bella in Charlie's house and killing her. Oh my god. So she did see that. So that's why Edward had to leave, because it was either he stays and he ends up killing her, or he goes away for a little bit. Oh my god. This is so... The beginning of this is so different from the beginning of Twilight. It's so cool to see what he was thinking, what he was going through, all the things that were going through his mind, all the things that were going through the other Cullens' mind. It's so cool to see his processing and his thinking and what he goes through and the different thoughts that he goes through. Could you just imagine Emmett and Jasper just throwing snowballs and slush balls at Edward when he's distracted, and Edward's just like... I can see Emmett doing that. Jasper! Yeah, maybe Jasper would do it too. And now we get to the infamous biology scene where he's like, I didn't get to introduce myself. My name is Edward Cullen. You must be Bella. So that wraps up Day 1 of reading Midnight Sun. I made it to page 50, and I thought getting to page 50 was a big accomplishment for how big of a book it is. It looks like I did nothing. It's so big. Enjoying it so far, and I'm excited to see more of Edward's perspective. Welcome to day 2 of reading Midnight Sun. I still can't believe I have it in my hands, and that's literally like I'm literally already started it. I want to get to page 100 today just because this weekend we might go on a small day trip, but I don't know how much I'm going to be reading in the car when there's other people, so I can't vlog. Yeah, let's hope I can get to page 100 today. Carlisle was so willing to tell Edward, leave, run away, be gone for a couple years. Then Edward killed Bella, and then they leave, and then there's some suspicion. I guess makes sense because all of a sudden someone dies and the Cullens just leave town. It looked very suspicious. I've always loved Edward and Carlisle's relationships in the books. They didn't really have it come across that much in the movies, but I love their dynamic in the books so much. They have a really good relationship, and I love that Edward just calls him father. Carlisle thinks so highly of Edward and treats him like his perfect son because Edward was technically his first son. It's just a really sweet relationship they have. Seeing it from Edward's perspective makes them so more close-knit, and I'm just like, oh, I'm here for it. Alice sees Edward's future changing. She sees him in the meadow with a figure she can't quite make out. Oh my god! I love this line right here. It was embarrassing how my world suddenly seemed to be empty of everything but her. Yes, it is, because she's now gonna be your everything. Oh my god, it's the scene where he protects her and saves her from the van. Oh my god. Reading it from Edward's perspective is so intense because Alice sees the vision quickly. She screams no. Edward tries to see what she sees, and before he can see the outcome, he's just screaming in his head, not her. And he just, without any care in the world, he just zooms right over to her and like pushes his hand against the van. He's like, not today. And he just grabs her in her and embraces her and just like lifts her up to protect her. Ah! And then she'll be like, how'd you get over to me so quickly? You weren't standing right next to me. And he'll be like, yes, I was, Bella. I mean, that does make sense of why Edward would be kind of jealous of Carlisle, because Carlisle can be around humans so well without needing to thirst. He's gained that self-control. He's jealous of him for that reason, of more reason, because Carlisle can touch Bella so gently without fear of hurting her, and Edward feels that anytime he touches her, he's gonna hurt her. It was better for him to save her than to not save, because if he didn't save her and all of her blood and mangled body were just sitting there, it would take a miracle probably for him to resist all of that. I wouldn't put it past him to be like, I can't resist anymore, and just go over there and start like drinking her blood. I think he would have done more damage to not just him and his family, but all the vampire secrets if he would have not saved her. So I think he saved himself and his family for less heartache if he saved her than didn't save her, at least in my opinion. Are you kidding me? When all of this stuff with the van happened, Alice saw that Jasper was willing to go to Bella's house and like attack her, but she always saw Edward defending Bella, standing outside being like, get the fuck away. Jasper, on the other hand, he's like, bro, we gotta fix this, because she's either gonna give us away or just kill her. Just kill her. Like, bro, Jasper, just shut the fuck down. Jasper's trying to get used to their lifestyle, so if he were to go after Bella and drink her blood, there's no way he'd ever come back from that and forgive himself. But you can see in No Moon that Jasper was so upset with himself for nearly going after Bella when she got a paper cut. Oh my god, what the fuck, Rosalie? What the hell? Now Rosalie is like, well, you know, sometimes humans fall asleep and don't wake up. Bro! Jasper's like, oh, it would have been better if she died. It would have been the right thing to do. It's like, do you think Jasper, that you could have just stood there and not bit her or drank any of her blood if she would have just died? Because I'm pretty sure you wouldn't have been able to survive, because look at New Moon. A paper cut, just one drip of her blood and you're gone. You would have not been able to sit there and just take it. There's no way in hell Jasper wants to kill her, and you know, Alice is like, no, you can't, because we're gonna be friends soon, because she sees the vision of her and Bella being friends, and then Bella and Edward being like this, and Edward's like, no, I will not have this, and Alice is like, too bad, it's set in stone, you can't leave now, I'm gonna date her now, and then marry her in the future. And she sees Bella becoming one of them someday, and Edward's like, the fuck she will. well. And just as Bella became super infatuated with Edward, Edward's become super infatuated with her, talking about all the things about her that torment him, from her smell to the curiosity of him not being able to read her mind. Everything rotates around her. We also get to see a lot more Edward really like taking notes of these little things that Bella does, because I don't remember this scene being in the original Twilight where there's this Tara character, because Edward's picking up on all these little things. This is so cool to see like deleted scenes or extra scenes with Bella and Edward. That's one of the other things that I think people forget, is that Bella was never this boring human being, but she was just really shy and kind and considerate. She was kind of a loner. That was more of her personality, and a lot of people just thought, oh, she's boring. She's more of a loner. She's kind and considerate, and we see that through Edward's perspective. We don't really see it much through Bella because it's Bella, but through Edward's perspective, he notices all these little things that she does. She may not have like an out there personality, but she still has a personality of sorts. All these boys are trying to ask Bella to the girls' choice dance, and Edward's like, well, what if Bella likes average guys? I'm not an average guy. I can't be competition. I'm just sitting here like, Edward, you are so cute. Even Edward is like, yeah, I'm creepy for watching her sleep. Why am I doing this? Even he thinks he's creepy AF for watching her sleep. All of you Twilight fans that are uncomfortable with him watching her sleep, me being one of them, Edward's just as uncomfortable doing it too. Now we know why the book is called Midnight Sun. It says, my life was unending, unchanging midnight. It must be always be midnight for me. So how is it possible that the sun was rising now in the middle of my midnight? Edward's life is unchanging. It's unending midnight. And Bella is the sun, giving him light and purpose to his life. He loves her. He loves Bella. He loves her. He loves her. He loves her. He understands how he might go to Carlisle and be like, yo, can you change her so like we can stay together and be like vampires forever together? He always tells Bella he doesn't want her to have this life, this immortal life, because he wants her to experience human things. But yet, when he realizes he does love her when he watches her sleep for the first time, he understands and knows that he would possibly go to Carlisle and say, you change her for me? So, like, it was always there in the back of his mind. It's just he didn't want to put her in that position because he didn't want to be selfish, really, and take her away. But it's like, bro, what else is she going to experience? Life isn't so great. Just came to the park because it was cloudy, and I thought it'd be perfect to read Edward's perspective in the park when it's gloomy. It's a little bit more sunnier than I liked, but I am parked by a shaded spot, so it still works. This is always one of my favorite scenes in the book, and I was so upset that it was cut from the movie. It's where she's like trying to tell all of her theories that she has about what she thinks Edward is, and I always love that in the book, like in the cafeteria scene where he just beckons her like, come sit with me, Bella. I loved that scene. It's one of my favorite scenes because they have that cute little banter, and she gets so frustrated and Edward gets so like enthused and laughing at her theories. It is so cute and it's so sweet, and I just wish it was in the movie. Edward laughing and trying not to chuckle at all of Bella's theories is so cute and so funny. And we've seen Edward laugh a few times, just not very often, and I wish he did more so, because let me tell you, there were some good Edward chuckling moments in Twilight. Dude, you don't court her. That's not how it works right now. To be fair, in your time, it would have been perfect. And he's like, am I courting her wrong? How do I court her as a modern day man? Watching him, a perfect vampire, struggle to court a human is so funny. Also get to learn insights about all of the other Cullens and their relationships. So Rosalie and Emmett, it was love at first sight. As soon as Rosalie found Emmett, because he had been mauled by a bear, and she dragged him home to have Carlisle change him because she could not do it herself. From the moment she laid eyes on him, she loved him and fell in love with him. And as soon as Emmett laid eyes on her, he thought of her as a goddess, which I'm sure Rosalie was probably like, hell yeah. For Alice, she had seen herself falling in love with Jasper 28 years before their first meeting, which is crazy. And I knew that Esme met Carlisle when she was younger because she had a husband before, and I believe she jumped off a cliff to get away from him. And Carlisle may have found her and then changed her. I think that's what happened. And Edward and Carlisle were worried that when Esme was changed, she was going to have a hard time adjusting to this life. But no, she was just like totally okay with it. She was on board with it, I guess, because Carlisle was there and she loved him. Edward just thought of Carlisle right away as his father. Even before he knew his name, he was like, you saved my life. You gave me, I guess, a chance to live, so I'm thinking of you as my father now. Carlisle's such a good guy. We stan Carlisle, we do. And that's another reason why people thought Bella had no personality, because she was kind of more in charge of her mom. She really had to grow up and be mature and take care of things around the house. So she kind of always felt more mature and as an adult and couldn't really relate to teenagers or people her age. Edward's playing the piano! He's currently writing Bella's lullaby! Oh my god, we get to read it! Oh, I'm so happy! Bella's Lullaby is one of my favorite Twilight songs. It's so good. And it's the tune that's playing when she transforms in Breaking Dawn Part 1. Oh my god. First tears have been shed. I just went back and reread the lullaby process writing scene again, and I just started tearing up. It's such an iconic thing, and to now be able to read it after so long of us not getting Midnight Sun, and that for film, and if we finally get to see it. I'm so happy Midnight Sun finally came out, and us Twilight fans got to read it, because we've been waiting so long for this. And I guess even in her mortal life, she was like the center of attention. She was like the most beautiful, and beauty was like her everything. And even as immortal, she expects every male to like worship her. Because Carlisle really changed Rosalie to really make her be that something that Esme was to him. And Edward never thought of Rosalie like that. He always thought of her as a sister. And so that's probably one reason why Rosalie has a little bit of resentment to him and is kind of angry at him. But then he finds someone, like a human no less, and he finds her 10 times more attractive than Rosalie. Rosalie's just like, excuse me? And it's like, Rosalie, not everyone finds you attractive. Like, don't get me wrong, you are gorgeous, but like, just like take a chill pill. You have Emmett, who is like amazing. We casually just get to see Emmett just take down a bear and just have a fun time wrestling him before he just chows down on him. You know, no big. These little character moments we get with the Cullens is amazing, and I'm so happy we get to have Emmett is not wrong. Making Bella immortal would solve all of the mortal issues. He's got a point. That's one of the things that we always really didn't think about, was like, Edward put her through more trauma by leaving her a human, because he then left her in New Moon. She became depressed, ended up kind of liking someone else. In an eclipse, there was a newborn army to hunt her down, and then she had to deal with your half vampire, half human child. If you would have changed her in Twilight, she wouldn't have got to go through all of that. It would have saved Edward so much heartbreak and Bella so much heartbreak if he just changed her right away. Like, he finds Bella's scent on a path out into the forest, and he's like, gee, wonder why would she be out here? Because she went out in the woods to ponder that you are a vampire. Port Angeles is coming up where she can confront you. Don't know how much I'm going to read today, because we're going on a little day trip all day, because we are going to kind of like a mini beach, and it's kind of like going to push, but not really. We are now getting on to the Port Angeles scene, which is a scene that I really like in the books. It's also the scene where Bella figures out and like talks to Edward about him being a vampire. In the movie, they did it in the forest, and it was just over dramatic. How long have you been 17? A while. And we love to make fun of that scene so much, but I know that in a heartbeat I would go visit that spot in Forks and just take a million pictures. A flustered Edward is the best type of Edward. He's just like, do I dazzle you? And Bella's like, yeah, frequently. And he's like, oh my god. Oh my god, we get Hades Persephone reference. And so this is when they're eating the dinner, and he says, suddenly as she ate, a strange comparison entered my head. For just a second, I saw Persephone, a pomegranate in hand, dooming herself to the underworld. Is that who I was? Hades himself, converting springtime, stealing it, condemning it to endless night. So it kind of makes sense. He doesn't want to condemn Bella to be immortal and have this terrible life of drinking blood. I love how Edward's first thought when Bella's like, I don't care if you're a monster, and he's like, I can take her to Carlisle. We have the best therapists and doctors in the world. They can get her checked out, so to see if she's safe. Like, that's his first reaction. I can't. He's saying that another word spoken between them is another pomegranate seed taken away. Like with Persephone, every pomegranate seed that she would take from Hades was another seed away from her mother, away from the light, away from her normal life. It's the same thing every time another pomegranate seed or another word is spoken between the two of them, Edward and Bella, it's another moment he feels like he's taking away from Bella, another human experience. Carlisle's first thought is Edward deserves this. There's gotta be a way for them to be together forever. I just want my son to be happy because he is really the first person you changed, and Edward's been alone his entire life. And so he deserves to be happy, and Carlisle sees it. Even when he says it in New Moon in the movies, he's like, you've chosen not to live without her. This is what's going to happen. I'm not going to lose my son. I like that they took care of those group of guys that were attacking her, or going to like do something to her in that alley. And Edward goes home and he tells Carlisle, and Carlisle, being kind of like the pacifist he is, he goes to Port Angeles and takes care of them. Because those two guys were murderers, as they don't really deserve to still be alive wandering the streets. Haven't you noticed? I'm breaking all the rules now. Ooh! I always liked Angela. She was really interesting and like really loved her in the book. I like the fact that now we get to see what Edward really thinks of her, and he really actually kind of likes Angela. Not just because she is always thinking kind thoughts about Bella, but also she kind of just tried to give them their space when they went to the restaurant. And he's trying to find a way to anonymously like give her something that she wants or help her with something and call her even. And I'm like, oh, Edward. I didn't read anything yesterday because yesterday was my birthday, the 10th of August. I just was hanging out with the fam. I did pick up this yesterday. That Twilight magazine, that was surfacing it. And it is Hollywood Spotlight, The Ultimate Guide to Twilight, the 15th Anniversary Edition. Ooh! Today is the 11th, and it's like 4 in the afternoon. I haven't read anything at Midnight Sun, but I'm going to try to get in one chapter today. I don't want to read it too fast, but I don't want to read it too slow that it takes me like weeks and weeks. Once I finish it, all those years of waiting are done, and it's over. And who knows when the next Twilight book is going to be coming out, even if there is ever going to be another Twilight book. So I'm trying to pace myself, but at the same time I want to keep reading more because it's like Twilight, and I love Twilight, and I love Edward, so it's just kind of like this dilemma of how do I go about not reading it too fast, but not reading it too slow either. Really love the relationship that Emma and Edward have. But even in the books, especially now in Midnight Sun, we see a lot more of Emma and how like he's mostly drawn to Edward, and him and Edward are pretty chill, pretty good bros, and I like that. So him and Emmett, which I love this is a great bonding moment between them. Edward pretends that he's gonna ask out Angela, but that Angela is interested in someone else, because there's this character, Ben, who really likes Angela, and Angela likes Ben, but they're too shy.
Emmett and Edward pretend to, talk about Angela and how she's cute and everything. And then Ben's like, oh, Edward's not better than me. Angela likes me. And he's like, I'm gonna go ask her out myself. So thanks, guys.
So I'm gonna try to hit page 300 today. I don't remember Bella ever saying in the books that she listened to Linkin Park. And I do not remember Edward saying he listened to Linkin Park either. However, good choice. I love Linkin Park. I don't remember that from Twilight. Their banter is so good. In the Twilight film, it is just like always so serious. And in the book, there's cute banter moments, which I love their conversations in Twilight. I just love these 20 questions that Edward asked her. She asked him questions, and now it's his turn to ask her a bunch of questions. These 20 questions would have been so cute in the film, them just chilling, Edward asking her basic questions. And if I could redo that movie, I would put the 20 questions, the cute, beckoning, them talking about her theories, and when she figures out that he's a vampire in the car, those 3 scenes I would 100% just put in the film if I could redo it, because it would make it so much more fun. And it would appear that the other complication was Jacob and Billy. When Bella really asked him about the Cullens, she kind of flirted with him a little bit, and he started to get interested. So I guess in a way it was kind of Bella's fault that Jacob started to like her. So I guess as of in Twilight, the Quillites don't have any werewolves yet. Carlisle says that though they have lost their protector, they are in no danger from us. So it would appear that because it makes sense because they haven't really probably seen much of the Cullens or the Cullens at all in Twilight, or haven't had to really acknowledge them. So a lot of their protectors are gone. So I guess once they do see the Cullens again and realize that a human is now involved, I guess they have new protectors change. We start to hear about them right away in New Moon with Sam and his pack, which makes sense because there wasn't really much issue because the Cullens were respecting the treaty. Now that there's a human involved, it's like, oh no, we gotta get involved. How in the hell did I not know about this until today? On Monday, August 10th, that was my birthday. I turned 23, no big deal. Stephanie Meyer had an online virtual event that Books A Million held. Point is, she announced that she plans or wants to do 2 Twilight sequels. Mind you, they're sequels. The first one, which has me so intrigued, I'm so happy, is a sequel to Breaking Dawn. That would take place 4 years after Breaking Dawn. So it could be a Renesmee Jacobs story, but we could see 4 years into how Edward and Bella's vampire lives are going. Oh my god, this is so surreal. The second one would be about Fred from the second short life of Britannia, which I read like years and years ago, and I don't remember anything from it. But the fact that she announced herself 2 Twilight sequels, and one of them is a sequel 4 years after Breaking Dawn. I can't. Doing some more digging on that post, she said that she couldn't comment or say anything about the Volturi because that would be spoilers, which one tells me that the sequel to Breaking Dawn could be about them finally taking down the Volturi, which needs to happen because, they're not gonna let the Cullens just sit there idly by forever. They have Alice, and now they have Bella, and Arrow's like, I want them. And the Cullens are probably like, yeah, they overreacted to shit. We're not gonna let them just sit there, and I'm pretty sure even Carlisle would be like, yo, they need to go.
But she still said that a while ago, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, that she still said that for Renesmee and Jacob's story, she has, it's a 2 to 3 book series.
Until then, we're just gonna have to speculate and just have theories. Sup? Hello. We're gonna try to get to page 380 today. We're gonna do it. Oh, apparently, Alice saw a vision of Bella not surviving the day he's gonna take her to the meadow. But I can't believe that she saw in the cafeteria that it played out differently where she does end up, dead or something. Oh my god! Edward's like, I can try to leave, I can stay away, and Alice sees in her visions, no you can't, because you will still come back to check up on her. She even says if you left in the first place and didn't come back before falling in love with her, you would have still come back to hunt her down! When you think about it, that was really the only 2 options that he had. Either he stay away and not fall in love with her and then come back and hunt her eventually because he can't ignore her blood, or he just fall in love with her. Now Alice is saying that every one of Bella's paths is intertwined, knotted together, and it all leads to really kind of the same decision. Either she dies at the meadow, or eventually she's gonna have to be changed because it's gonna be too much for him. It's always been either leading up to he was going to kill her or he was gonna have to change her, and if he was gonna leave, it would have been excruciating for Bella. So really the only other 2 options were always turn her or kill her. Only 2 options that Edward has ever had. Even if he were to have a healthy life with Bella, that's 80 average years, and then the rest of your life you are just this cloud of depression, Edward. We get this cute little couple-page story of Edward talking about more than a year after Carlisle had changed him, where Carlisle was trying to take him out into, the human world to have him get adjusted. Carlisle tells him to go on a little, walk around the bay by himself, and it was just a ruse so Carlisle could buy him a small Christmas tree, and they trimmed the tree together. Oh, that's so sweet. So we all know about the story about how Edward kind of went off from Carlisle and, you know, went and drank like murderer's blood. And I guess that one of the reasons why he stopped doing it was because he could hear in his mind how Carlisle would think of him, and he realized this is not the greatest joy. Because before all of this happened, he had met one of Carlisle's old friends, and she was like, you're letting him miss out on one of the greatest joys. And I guess he thought it meant experiencing human blood. But no, once he started to go off on his own and try human blood, he realized that's not the greatest joy. The greatest joy is being a part of something bigger, a family, aka Carlisle and Esme. He kept thinking in his mind, gee, what would Carlisle and Esme think of me right now? Like, I don't want to upset them. And then he elaborates on that and says, the greatest joy of my life was this fragile, brave, warm, insightful girl sleeping so peacefully nearby. Bella. That's his greatest joy right now. The reason why he was able to not kill her in the meadow is because it's like mind over matter. He repeatedly is telling himself, I will not hurt Bella. I will not put her in danger. And I think that mental image of not hurting her and hearing Alice's words and seeing what the outcome could possibly be if he did hurt her, I think that's what's really keeping Edward, keeping him grounded, making him understand that he cannot hurt Bella. Oh, my heart. When Edward left to go try to be on his own, and when he came back, Esme and Carlisle just welcomed him with open arms. And Esme's like, don't leave again. She's like, my boy. And I'm just like, and so the lion fell in love with the lamb. What a stupid lamb. What a sick, masochistic lion. It's such a cheesy quote. I don't give two shits. I love it. And he brushes his lips over her neck and touches her neck and her throat. Then he puts his ear to her heart and listens to her heartbeat. I think that's a little moment that I really treasure because he spent so long not touching her, thinking about wanting to touch her, but knowing that it could lead to chaos. I love this moment. It's a little moment. No words are spoken. It's just a really descriptive scene and moment, and I appreciate the really small moments. He's getting butterflies in his stomach because he's like, oh, I can kiss Bella? It's possible? Oh! He kissed her! They had their first kiss! Such a big accomplishment, I feel like, especially for them. Hey guys, welcome to, I think it's day 10? I'm gonna try to make it to page 450 today, and then tomorrow, which is Saturday, I'm gonna hope to get a little past 500, so that way on Sunday I can try to finish the book, and if I don't, then I'll finish whatever I have left on Monday. The whole Rosalie and Emmett thing, Edward started to really feel happy for her, and then they started to become more brother and sister like. And I like these little moments we get to see through Edward's thoughts. We know a lot about Edward from Bella, but there's still so much more about Edward that we don't know, that we get to see in glimpses in his mind. And I love that. This is another one of those scenes that I would have added into Twilight if I could have, where she's asking him about, like, marriage and kind of hinting at, you know, sex. And Edward's like, that would be too hard for me because she's so fragile. And then she's like, do you find me attractive in that way at all? And he's like, I'm a man still, Bella. Of course I do. That was such a cute little, like, intriguing kind of little conversation. There's so many good Edward, Bella, cute, like, bantery, like, casual conversations that they have. And again, didn't put it in the movie. Bella comes downstairs in one of Edward's favorite outfits of hers, this blue blouse, and she's like, okay, do I look decent? And Edward motherly just wraps his arms around her and is like, nope, you are indecent. No one should be this alluring and this gorgeous. It is too criminal. And he's playing her the lullaby for her. Oh my god. I am so giddy right now. So I decided to come outside and read today because it's like 70 degrees, so it's really nice. So I'm just rocking my Baby Yoda shirt today. I'm just gonna read outside today because, you know, most Twilight takes place in a place with forest and outdoors, so why not be outside? I mean, this isn't really the forest, it's just my yard, but like I'm reading outside, as you can see, just like Bella was when Edward was watching her from the tree, and unfortunately, there's no sparkly, sexy vampire in my tree. Unfortunate. This is interesting. We get to see a flashback of Carlisle calling Billy Black and talking to him about how they're moving back to Forks. And he's like, "Hi, are you Billy Black? I'm Carlisle Cullen. I don't know if you know me." And he's like, "Yes, I do." And then he's like, "We're moving back to Forks." And then Carlisle proceeds to give Billy his exact longitude and latitude of the location of where they're gonna move. And then Billy's like, "How many of you are there?" And Carlisle says 7. And then Billy hangs up the phone. That is the one thing that's always bothered me. I understand that the wolves and the vampires are enemies. I get that. But just like not every werewolf is a dick, not every vampire is a monster. Like if you look at Seth, that's why I've always loved Seth. That's why he's my favorite werewolf, is because he doesn't despise the other Cullens. Because some of the vampires don't choose to be a vampire. Rosalie didn't choose to live this immortal life. So that's why I've always liked Seth. Not just because he's really cute. I've always liked Seth. But I've always liked him more than the others because he gives them a chance. Like, especially Carlisle. He tries so hard to be nice to you, and you guys are like, "Nah, we're gonna blow you off." Like, it's baseball time, so you know what that means. Supermassive black hole! So cool getting to see the baseball scene from Edward's perspective. And it is so interesting to read all of like the moves and the plays they're making. It's so cool! Coming outside to read again this morning. We're hopefully gonna get past page 550. I do have a little grad party to go to at like 4 something, so hopefully I can get a big chunk of the way through before. Interesting. So Jasper's trying to use, like, you know, his power to make the other 3 nomads, Victoria, Laurent, and James, uninterested in them while shielding Bella, Alice, and Esme. Ooh! Another tally to add to the list of why I love Jasper so much. I think it's so funny how a majority of this book, for a good portion of it, Alice is like, "So, what can I meet Bella? Can I meet Bella now? Can I meet her? Can I meet her? Can I meet her? Can I meet her?" It's just like, it's so funny. That is so interesting. So Edward thought, well, maybe, hey, why don't me, you know, Carlisle, Jasper, Alice, Emmett, why don't we all stay around Bella's house like statues protecting her? Then Alice saw a future where if they did that, the trapped James would just start going and killing her friends, her favorite teachers, other random humans before eventually the Cullens would have to leave, and then he'd finally get to Bella, which is so crazy to think about. Like, it's so scary and it's so interesting to see. That kind of makes sense that if it would have come to a fight instead, I feel like they could have just killed them right there and then, because based on Victoria's thoughts that Edward is reading, Victoria would have just been like, "I don't want a confrontation," and just run off. Laurent probably didn't really seem like the type to want to be part of this confrontation. Knowing Jasper and Emmett and how powerful Edward is for his love for Bella, all 3 of them could have just taken James on like that. We're gonna try to finish the book today. Can we do it? We'll see. So they must have gone up way more north, because it said it would be a solid 7-hour trek if run straight if James were to go back to Forks. Damn. So instead of running to Phoenix, he took a small plane, because they find a private airstrip, and it looked like he took a plane. I mean, he could have run, and maybe took a couple hours, maybe a day. All right. Sure. So to get to Bella in the studio, they steal a car. And now Alice sees police setting up roadblocks, like 2 of them on the highway, when they're going like 100+ miles. So they have to outrun the police to go get Bella. At one point, Edward's like, I'm just gonna take the motorcycle myself, this motorcycle, and just leave my family, just go get my girlfriend. Could you imagine Edward just riding a motorcycle casually, all like decked out in like clothing so that he doesn't glisten in the sun, like just in like a hoodie and like maybe a mask and sunglasses, you know, just driving along in a black motorcycle? No biggie. Jesus Christ, they did a lot of damage just trying to go get Bella. Now they get into a new car, and it already has a driver in it, so Carlisle pricks her with a needle, probably putting her unconscious, and they just get into this other car, and then they just zoom out in front of traffic, and now cars have to slam on their brakes and are slamming into other cars, but no fatalities. You guys. And he tastes her blood for the first time. Hit me like an explosion, a bomb detonating inside my body and mind. The first time I caught Bella's scent, I thought I'd be undone. That was a paper cut. This was a decapitation. My brain was severed from my body. When Bella says, "Stay, Edward, stay with me," it kind of pulls him out from his frenzy and gets him to stop. So I kind of like this better, where her voice takes him out of his frenzy and he's like, "I can do this," and he stops sucking her blood. But Edward watches the video clip that James made to try to like push Edward off the edge. Oh my god, I hate that. I can't believe he watches it. I just, why would he subject himself to that? He's like, you can see he's ready to crush that remote and video camera in his hands. You're gonna make me cry, Edward, stop. So he does break the camera, which I was not surprised at him breaking the camera after watching the video, because oh my god. He goes to a church to pray, and he just crawls into a ball on the floor and just starts praying, not for himself, but for Bella. And I can't tell you. There's so many times where Bella is in danger, or Edward feels that he's going to hurt her, and we never get to see it from his perspective. We never got to see what he was thinking. The turmoil, the pain, the anguish, everything that he was going through. And now that we do, it is so horrific. I am so upset. This is why we needed Midnight Sun, for these exact reasons, so we could see the care, the love, the passion, the emotion, the anguish, the anger, the sadness that Edward feels. So let's get on with reading the last chapter of Midnight Sun. Edward's gaping expression being like, when Bella comes down the stairs in that dress, and he's just like, "She was beyond perfect, beyond an angel. She was a goddess." I did it. I did it, guys. I finished Midnight Sun, and I started crying at the end. I just started crying as soon as Bella said, "I love you more than everything else in this world combined. Isn't that enough?" And then when Edward replies, "Yes, it is enough. Enough for forever," I just started crying. After 11 years of waiting, I finished Midnight Sun, and I'm just crying. So I have finished Midnight Sun. It was definitely worth the wait for 11 years, I think. We got to see some new things about him. We got to see more into his past. There were so many little moments in his past that we got to see. There's all these other things we don't think about in Twilight. When the van was about to crush Bella, what was going through Edward's mind? And did Alice see that vision happening? How he found Bella to go get her from James. When Bella's scent hits him for the first time. All these little moments that we kind of take for granted and don't really know what Edward's thinking, we now get to. And that's the beauty of it. I love that we get to see Edward's perspective on things. So we get to see a lot more of like Alice and Emmett and Rosalie throughout this book. And even Emmett, he's kind of like, from the beginning, he's always been like Team Bella. So there's all these bonus moments that we get that it's extra content, it's bonus content in the Twilight world. I think the only scenes I would like to see from Edward's perspective would probably be when Bella would accept his proposal in Eclipse. I would love to see, I can kind of picture in my mind how he would feel because of the way he talks about Bella in Midnight Sun, but I'd love to see how happy he would be when they have the wedding, when he first sees Bella in her wedding dress for the first time. That would be so sweet. And like his thoughts running through his mind, like with Renesmee, like what was he thinking? Reading Midnight Sun, we can kind of get a sense of how Edward would react in those scenes. So I'm very happy that I read Midnight Sun. I almost think I enjoy reading Twilight from Edward's perspective because he has more of an insight. I just love being in his head. It's interesting the things that go through his mind, but being inside his head just felt so much fun. So I'd love to be in his head more, but obviously she's not going to write any more books with his perspective because it makes her too anxious. I definitely give Midnight Sun an A+. I really loved it. And I hope you enjoyed this reading vlog. It's my longest video on my channel of all time. I didn't mean for it to be, but like I wanted to talk about all of my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed my thoughts on Midnight Sun. Let me know what you guys thought about Midnight Sun. Try to keep it spoiler free in the comments, please. I will see you guys in another video very soon. Bye guys!